Hello everybody, welcome to the second class of electronic product design. In the first class, we have seen the general framework offered by systems engineering. In this general framework, the first step is concept development, that is defining the problem, which includes collecting requirements, making requirement specification document, then converting these requirements into technical specifications and preparing system specifications document. After this, the next phase is designing the product. Now, design, it is nothing but it indicates how of the product. There are various approaches to design. So, various approaches are proposed on the paper, that is paper design. Then next step followed is prototyping, and R&D develops a prototype. Now this prototype is thoroughly tested for technical and functional specifications. Lot of field trials are taken, and after this the design may require some modifications. So modifications are performed on this initial design. Now, after design, there are generally two methods followed to validate the design. Either rapid prototyping is used or field testing method is used. The name itself indicates rapid prototyping means the prototype is developed in very short time, sometimes maybe only part of the functionality or sub module is implemented and it is given for testing, and that's why prototype development it takes less time. Here it is very important to test the user aspects or user interface aspects. Your prototype should be easy to use, its response latency should be minimum. So this is one method. Either rapid prototyping is used or another method is field testing. It includes thorough testing and it takes more time for the implementation, and therefore whatever testing is done, that is to the depth testing, and it finds out all the errors or all the faults in the design. In between these two, electronic engineers most of the time do breadboard evaluation of the circuits. Means circuits are built up on the breadboard and tested for expected outputs, and whatever problems are there, those problems are eliminated on this breadboard testing. So breadboard evaluation or breadboard testing it falls between rapid prototyping and field testing. After the design is tested, the next steps are validation, verification, and integration. Naturally, validation determines how well the requirements to suit the intention of the system. Verification, it evaluates how well the system satisfies all the requirements. And integration and testing is nothing but assembling components, subsystems, then performing acceptance tests of validation and verification. Here, testing includes module wise testing, integrated testing. Now, there are number of tests: black test, white test, gray test. All these types of tests are performed. After this validation, verification, and testing is done, the next design engineers are also satisfied, then product documentation is prepared and it is handed over to the production department for manufacturing. The production department will undertake initially only a small batch of units making. Typically, it may be 5 units, and this production of 5 units or very small units is called as pilot production batch. Now, the main purpose of making a pilot production batch is to weed out or eliminate marginal design problems. Once the production department and R&D are sure of design meeting the specifications, then quality assurance department tests results data on pilot batch units. Now, quality assurance department authorities are the final authority to declare that the product has passed all the tests. In between these, periodically random checks are also performed on the products. Besides these steps, importance is given to reliability and failure mechanisms. Reliability is the probability that a system will perform its specified functions in a given environment. Quality over time and environmental conditions are very important. So, reliability always emphasizes on probability, intended function, time, and operating conditions also. Testing for failures is very important. Investing failure mechanisms helps in increasing the reliability of the design product. What are the causes of failures in case of electronic products? The failures are incorrect resistances of the components, voltage or current variations, incorrect capacitances or dielectric properties. These are called as electrical overstress failures. Another failures are due to electromagnetic interference. So sometimes shielding is not properly provided. So EMI is occurring and it is disturbing the functionality of the product. Also, improper thermal management causes thermal failures. So, these are few failures mentioned over here. Like this, n number of failures are there in the electronic products, and we need to take care of all these failures. After testing for reliability, checking maintenance aspects and service aspects, and failure mechanisms, finally the product is launched in the market. After launching the product, it is monitored continuously for its growth, profit, and the duration of its maturity. Once the company gets maximum product for the maximum benefit for the particular product over a long duration, most of the time it happens that over a certain period or after a certain period the product starts declining in the market, that benefit starts decaying. And when the benefit starts decaying, then it is the need to either upgrade the existing product or to design a completely new product. So these are the phases of electronic product development. If we consider environmental life cycle, then we have to consider about disposal, how to dispose the product after it is extinguished. So it is very important to consider disposal aspects in case of environmental life cycle. But here we are not considering about environmental life cycle. We are going to only study about electronic product design, development and its business life cycle. Thank you.